Okay, I guess while I'm at it today, show off a few of my records. Last time I went to Japan, a couple of years ago, I came back with a suitcase and a box full of records, as many as I could pack, and my weight allowance. Had a good time. I finally found really the best place to go looking for old records is a business in Japan called Hard Off. Hard Off sells a lot of sporting goods, music equipment, and stereo equipment secondhand. And I find the prices were quite reasonable, and the records were, I didn't find any that I really didn't like. They were quite good shape, and most of the prices were like $1 or $2. They had some records there that were fairly expensive, but most of them, for the stuff I like to listen to, were quite cheap. Most of them still had their obi, which is a little paper edition that had Japanese text on it for the Japanese market. And one of the fun things about collecting records, if you can find them from other countries, is even though you may have the same record that you've owned for years and years that you bought in North America or wherever you may live, they're not always the same. This one pretty much looks the same, but when I played it through, I found one of the last tracks, like Hold Back the Rain or The Chauffeur, I can't remember which one, was actually a different recording, a different cut. And so that was kind of fun, kind of a fun little cookie to find. They say Japanese vinyl typically is a better quality than the North American vinyl. I've read a lot that often with EMI, the British and German pressings and Japanese pressings are often better because the master tapes that they were given weren't as far down the reproduction chain, because the master tapes would get copied over and over again and sent out around the world. And for whatever reason, a lot of the North American companies didn't have as good master tapes to work with. They say the vinyl for a lot of Japanese records, or at least certain Japanese records, is of better quality. And we all know that the Japanese tend to have a higher level of expectations for manufacturing. Most of the vinyl I found at Hard Off, at any rate, was very good condition, very glossy, very black, very little scratches, if any, could ever be found. The thrift stores were another matter, and I had a hard time finding many records at thrift stores. This one is one I got at Hard Off, and it's quite nice except for one little scuff there where somebody scuffed the platter when they put it on. The Japanese records often have a different shaped bag than North American ones. They usually have that half round look. I don't know if this particular record has it, but a lot of the Japanese market records would have extra pamphlets inserted that had all the lyrics both in English and Japanese, which is kind of fun. And I do believe that this inner liner is different. This is a Harvest that I bought or was given in the early 80s. Harvest out of wherever they were, Ontario. Oh, that looks about the same. But my record is extremely beat up. It saw a major pipe failure in the basement where they were stored and got soaking wet, most of my records. But this one I found in Japan was quite nice, and I got quite a few different records. A lot of Duran Duran, a lot of 80s rock. Of course, they still make records. And this is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I got this from Neptune Records in Vancouver, I think it was. And one of the nice things about modern vinyl is a lot of the guys are pressing with fairly thick vinyl. This is, I believe, 130 gram vinyl, so it stays quite flat. Remember back in the late 80s when they were starting to phase out vinyl, the records were getting so thin that brand new they would usually look like a taco. Just a lot of fun. More fun than punching in a CD. A lot of fun to watch this turntable in action. Most turntables are kind of fun to have in the living room. And there's a little visual candy as well as the music.